Hello friends, this is Ananya Pal from the city of Nairobi, Kenya. Kenya has a large population of citizens who are of Indian origin, and the history of Nairobi is entwined with their contribution to the economy and society. I would like to take you through the interesting colonial history of Nairobi in this video. In the year 1899, Nairobi city was established to build the headquarters for Uganda Railways. George Whitehouse, the then chief engineer, planned for building a railway town here. Within the next couple of years, the city was flooded with fortune seekers, both from Asia as well as Europe. A large population of Indians, as a part of the Uganda Railways workforce, settled in the city. And then came the Indian tradesmen, primarily to facilitate the Indian population and then to cater to the larger population of the locals as well. The Indian workforce consisted of Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus from Bihar, UP and Bengalis. The tradesmen were mainly from Gujarat and Maharashtra. Slowly, Nairobi became the capital of East African Protectorate, which consisted of Uganda, Tanganyika, Zanzibar and Kenya. The Indian tradesmen, referred here as Dukkawalas, operated in an Indian bazaar near the city centre. The Indians were settled in the areas Parkland, Pangani, Ngara and Eastleigh, which were basically the suburbs. Till the year 1920, the Indian rupee silver coin was used as the currency in Nairobi, which was another reason the Indian traders were attracted to this place from the mainland. Indian workforce was indispensable for the railway authorities, and slowly Dukkawalas became so too. In initial years, the workers were paid wages through goods like a piece of cloth, a sack of grain, etc., which the workers bartered to get daily necessities. The situation improved greatly as the Dukkawalas came with various goods to offer. It became easier for the railway to pay wages in currency, and the workers could use the money to buy their necessities. In early days, Nairobi was considered to be a railway town, but then, with the European planters starting to congregate here, eventually transformed it to a British colonial city with its own legislative council. The white settlers, many of whom were traders, started to consider Indian Dukkawalas as threat, since the Indian traders were wealthy and controlled a significant part of the economy. As a result, a severe attempt was made to carve down Indian influence. In 1921, currency in East Africa was demonetized and East African shilling was introduced, replacing Indian rupee. Several European stores were opened across the region who refused to deal with the Indian wholesalers. The Convention of Association of European Settlers tried to impose a lot of restrictions on Indian traders, but the Indian traders were invincible in spirit as well as business strategies. The big players could not penetrate the unorganized market catered by the Indians. Most of the stores closed down at the end. Manilal Desai, a professional lawyer, started his protest against British oppression. He was funded and supported by an Indian merchant, Ali Bhai Mullah Jivanji. Desai started a newspaper named East African Chronicle, where he openly criticized the British, much in line with his Indian counterparts. Gradually, Mangal Das, Samsuddin also joined the cause, and the movement got momentum among the Indians. In 1921, the Chronicle collected 4,000 rupees from the local Indians for Jallianwala Bagh Memorial. The Indian Association of Nairobi supported Harry Tuku, the first East African freedom fighter, in his movement and showed camaraderie with the cause. The Kenyan Indian population in today's date also is quite large, and many of them hold influential business houses in this country. Most of the Indian settlers are fourth generation descendants. They are Kenyan by heart, though take great pride in their Indian lineage.